Well, in this replay, we're going to how a Grandmaster Protoss tries to cannon rush me, succeeds, and how I eventually try and counter the build. Cannon rushing is something that I don't really know how to deal with, to be honest. Like, he's going for the pylon right here, and I don't think I can stop the cannon rush at this point. Like, he puts a pylon there, and I'm already like, oh no. This is not gonna work out for me. So what I do is I take double gas and go for a pool as quickly as I can. Like, I built the hatch, immediately cancelled, opened the hatch first. Put 2 drones here, there's always the chance that I can kill the probe, or even like with 1 drone, there's a chance that I can kill the probe. If I can do that, then I'm in a very, very good position, but usually that's not gonna happen. Now, I figured, well, if I go for this fast of a pool, then there should be something I can do with roaches, perhaps. I got 1 overlord on his side of the map to scout. He's going for the full wall off, so countering is not really a possibility, but this overlord is gonna be very important. I built the 2 links to try and pressure him a bit, if I possibly can. However, he got the wall off already done, like, he got the 3 cannons, gateway, he's starting to churn out stalkers right now, going for the shield batteries. And my goal is to get a fast lair up right now. I built the roach warren because roaches cost a lot less larva. And I could build links, but if I go 1 base into links, then I would need a macro hatchery just to even afford the larva, because I didn't take this expansion, I don't have any other expansion on the map. He's frantically trying to find another base, but I'm not going for it. So what I'm doing instead is I get the safety Ravagers, just 2 Ravagers is enough. Like, I don't want to die to force fields or anything silly like that, so need a couple of Ravagers, and they are able to also drain the shield battery energy with their biles. I'm continuing to build drones. I went up to another Ravager even, but the Ravagers are not that important. With the additional drones that I built above I try to have 16 on the main rows, only have 15 right now, but the additional drones allow me to get more spines out there, and spines are really good defensive. Like, I want to somehow stop him from pushing up. I think he's a little bit scared, like he could have gone for the robo faster. A lot faster. That's also why I got the Ravagers, because I'm a little bit scared. I'm also scared of him like having observers that give him vision or anything like that. But overall my goal is to mine a lot of gas, stay safe with the spines, and then we're gonna Nidus him. He built his entire base in front of my base, so maybe a Nidus can do something. He smartly turned off the healing, the cannon ability. And he also got shield batteries and cannons at home to be safe against my push, because he knows that I'm eventually gonna Nidus him, right? There's like very little anything else that I could be doing right now. And what he does is he immediately recalls. Like, my Nidus is popping right now, and he already recalled the stalkers, so I figured, well, if he recalls everything, maybe I can put some pressure on him, but like, 4 cannons, 3 shield batteries, an immortal, like, what am I gonna do, right? So, well, I was able to get his stalkers, to push his stalkers to his home base. But at this point, I still don't really have an answer to his push. Like, I'm trying to push in, immortal doesn't take damage, I lose a roach, I lose a ravager, horrible trade. So, I do the only thing that can save a Zerg in a position like this, and I start building SWARMHOSTS. 1 base SWARMHOST behind 2 spine, like, he's expanding. Now this is the tricky thing, right? The Protoss is actually out expanding me. This one changeling right here is a really good one though. I'm trying like to put a bit of pressure on him. I put creep tumors here because I realized that, or rather I expect him to not have an observer at home. If he doesn't have an observer at home, he cannot kill the creep tumors, so I can continuously harass him there. And right now I'm going for some roach harassment. Keep in mind, this is all on 1 base, so I cannot afford a lot of roaches or a lot of ravagers. But because he pulled most of his army home to clean up the Nidus so he doesn't die to it, I'm able to put a lot of pressure on his natural. And in the meantime, I just keep building these SWARMHOSTS. I'm trying to take down his fortification. Of course, he eventually I was scared that he had the immortals in the war prison, but for some reason he walked everything over there. So I was like, oh no, you're not gonna nuke the Nidus Swarm with a war prison immortal drop, and instead just retreated away. So at this point I figured it's now time for me to crush, right? I have my Locust Wave ready, I got the Spine Crawlers, I got Creep all the way down here, so now the game is starting to get a little bit bizarre, right? I'm actually pushing, I'm trying to Spine Crawler rush the CannonRush that is occupying my natural, while having Creep at my opponent's natural and my own third base. Meanwhile, my opponent is taking his gold base. Of course, mortals, shield batteries, everything is ridiculous. Like it's like the fact that the Protoss even stays in this game, I cannot even kill him here. Like he just kills my army. Because the like you can keep lifting the immortals, then they get healed by the shield battery. And I just keep losing units, but eventually here comes the kill on the last pylon, and then I'm finally able to push him back a little bit. I mean, the game is not over, right? I have these SWARMHOSTS, but this is still a Protoss with immortals. I don't really have a lot of mining going on in my base, sadly. That kinda stings. And I'm not trying to somehow cure my natural and trying to find where he's mining. Like he cannot be mining here, he probably is not mining there. So I'm trying to find a base, and I narrowly missed the gold base. I'm not sure why. I could have just Nidus, I guess, but I was a little bit short on money, so I instead walk across the map. It's a very long explanation on how I think we should play against CannonRushes. But the basic gist is we stay on one base, get the infestation pit, get the roach warren to be larva efficient, defend with spines and queens, and then we somehow Nidus and transition to SWARMHOSTS. I think that is the smartest way to play here. Here's another Nidus swarm, and we're gonna see something that a strategy that has been thought long forgotten. Because what is gonna pop out, it's not the SWARMHOST. It's not gonna be the SWARMHOST that will attack my opponent here. But well, actually it's a SWARMHOST as well. It's just one SWARMHOST though. And then the infested Terran harass, right? We go, of course, while we are harassing his main with roaches, we go for the infested Terran harass at our opponent's gold base. And well, I mean, at this point I stabilized. I actually feel pretty okay. Like I have a lot of army supply, but Protoss is still scary to me because Immortals, Colossi, like it's a very scary army composition, and it's kind of hard for me to get a lot of damage in. Like what I'm doing here is I put the Nidus down so I can retreat with my SWARMHOST once the Locust spawn. Trying to get a snipe on the Colossus, sadly not quite possible. I got the shield battery at least, but that doesn't really help me much. And another immortal drop, pew pew pew, everything dead. Got a Nidus swarm over here so I can rally roaches into his natural, and at this point I think my opponent realizes that, well, he has to kill me now, so I was going for the Nidus, but he's going for the counter at the same time, and now I have this SWARMHOST, roach, pester composition thing. I'm going for a harass attack on his gold base, trying to snipe it. I just right click the gold base because I realized that he cannot defend it. At the same time I'm defending on my home base, trying to get the cutesy fungals on the immortals, but he can of course just on the colossi, but he can just pick them up with the ward prism even if they're fungled. So that doesn't really do that much, but he loses his gold base, well, I mean, I guess he has this base, but more or less his last mining base. Then I just retreat home with my SWARMHOST to eventually clean everything up here. Yada 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 yada. Roach SWARMHOST is a pretty good composition, to be honest. But isn't it kind of a joke how far Zerg players have to go to beat CannonRush? I mean, I know that it went up, but then it just He just goes for a massive amount of cannons at my natural and shield batteries, and I cannot push out anymore, right? So of course I Nidus him, but he cannons up his own base as well, and then he has immortals, and I don't know. Games are weird, but I kind of feel like this is a potential answer to the CannonRush, where we just go for the one base Nidus, stay safe with Ravages, could even cut them a little bit maybe, but definitely not Lings. Lings are bad. And then the SWARMHOSTS, maybe less roaches, maybe fewer roaches, but SWARMHOSTS are I like SWARMHOSTS a lot. And the queens really help me with zoning the War Prism. Like I like to go for a lot of queens if I can afford it. And they're constantly spreading a little bit of creep everywhere. Amazing game.